She thought the war was behind her. 12 years of silence, of secrets buried deep where no one knew the battles she'd fought. Beth Carver, a single mother, built a quiet life on Oregon's rugged coast, her past locked away like a forgotten storm. But tonight, as the sun bled into the sea, an unmarked helicopter tore through the twilight landing outside her small clinic. 2 men stepped out, their eyes sharp with purpose, calling her by a name she'd abandoned, Lieutenant Commander Carver. In their hands, a sealed envelope marked Sierra Bravo 7, active. Inside her closet, a box holds her old seal pin, a faded photo of a team she swore to forget, and a truth she's hidden from her daughter. What could pull a woman who's fought to be ordinary back into a nightmare? She escaped. When duty calls after 12 years, can you ever truly walk away from who you were? Stay with us, because Beth's story isn't just about courage. It's about the battles we carry inside, and the ones we choose to fight again. In the quiet coastal town of Astoria, Oregon, where the Pacific whispers secrets to the shore, Beth Carver has built a life as steady as the tides. At 48, she's known as Doc Beth, the woman who runs a small clinic with a gentle hand and a sharp mind. Her patients adore her old fishermen with weathered hands, mothers with feverish kids, but they don't know her. Not really. Beth moves through her days with a soldier's precision, her athletic frame cutting through the morning fog as she unlocks the clinic door each dawn. Her dark brown hair tied back tightly, and those sharp green eyes carry a story no one dares ask about. She's built a wall around her past, brick by brick, for 12 years. Mornings start early for Beth. She brews coffee in her modest kitchen, the aroma mingling with the salty sea air drifting through the open window. Emily, her 17-year-old daughter, stumbles down the stairs, rubbing sleep from her eyes. "Morning, Mom," she mumbles, grabbing a piece of toast. Beth watches her with a quiet pride, remembering how Emily's laughter filled the house when she was little, chasing away the shadows that sometimes crept into Beth's mind. But lately, Emily's questions have grown sharper. "Why do you always check the doors like that?" she asked once, noticing Beth's ritual of securing the house each night. Beth just smiled. "Old habits die hard, sweetie. In truth, it's more than habit. It's the echo of a life where every shadow could hide danger." At the clinic, Beth's days are filled with purpose. She stitches up a cut on a young boy's knee, her hand steady as she reassures his worried grandmother. "He'll be fine, Mrs. Harlan." Kids bounce back. The older woman nods, her eyes grateful. But even here, Beth keeps her distance, never sharing stories from her own life. Tucked away in her closet, hidden under folded sweaters, is a locked box. Inside, a Navy SEAL trident pin glints faintly next to a letter from someone named Laura Reed and a dusty encryption device that hasn't hummed in years. Beth never opens it, but she can't let it go. It's her past locked away like a ghost she's afraid to face. Sometimes at night, she traces the outline of the box with her fingers, wondering if peace is just an illusion. The people of Astoria respect Beth, but they whisper. A single mother who never speaks of Emily's father. She must have a troubled past, they say, maybe a broken heart, maybe something darker. Beth hears the gossip at the diner, feels the curious stares at the grocery store, but she keeps her distance. One afternoon, old Mr. Jenkins, a retired fisherman, corners her at the market. "You're a mystery, Doc Beth. No husband, no family tales." "Folks say you're running from something." Beth forces a laugh, just focused on the present. "Mr. Jenkins, that's all." But his words sting, reminding her of the biases she's faced before. In her old life, as a rare woman in the SEALs, she heard it all. "Women don't belong in combat," officers would mutter. Now in this small town, the whispers are softer, but no less cutting. Beth skips the town's veteran picnics, where old soldiers swap stories over beer, afraid a familiar face might unravel her. Letters from the VA pile up, forwarded to a P.O. box she never checks. Her life is a careful dance of avoidance, every step measured to keep the world from seeing who she used to be. But there are cracks in her armor. Sometimes when she changes shirts, the edge of a tattoo peeks out, a bald eagle on her left shoulder, wings spread with the words, Fortitudo per umbras, etched beneath. Strength through shadows. Emily caught a glimpse, once asked what it meant. Just an old story, Beth said, pulling her sleeve down fast. But the way her voice caught told Emily it was more than that. Beth's hands steady when stitching, a wound tremble when she thinks no one's watching. She's built a life of peace, but it's fragile, like a house of cards waiting for a gust of wind. Deep down, she knows the past isn't gone. It's just waiting, patient, as the ocean eroding the cliffs outside her window. Every night, Beth walks the perimeter of her home, checking locks with the focus of a soldier securing a camp. Her wrist still carries a military watch, ticking in Zulu time, a habit no one in Astoria notices. She tells herself it's just routine, but it's more a tether to a life she swore to leave behind. One evening, as the sun dips low, Emily ventures into the garage, rummaging for an old bike pump. Instead, she finds something else, an old notebook, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and tactical diagrams, like something from a war movie. "What's this, Mom?" she asks, holding it up when Beth walks in. Beth's heart skips, and she snatches it away, her voice sharper than intended. "Just some old notes. Don't touch my things." Emily's eyes linger, full of questions she knows better than to ask. Later, alone on the beach, Beth stares at the ocean, the waves rolling in like memories she can't outrun. "I promised Laura I'd never go back," she whispers, her voice swallowed by the wind. Laura, who was she? A teammate, a sister in arms, lost in a mission gone wrong. Beth remembers her laugh, her unyielding spirit, and the guilt that's haunted her since. Nights like this, the dreams come, flashes of gunfire codes, breaking under pressure, Laura's voice fading in the chaos. Beth wakes in a sweat, checking the windows again, her mind racing through old drills. She's tried to bury it all, to be just Doc. Beth, the healer, the mother. But the notebook, the watch, the tattoo, they're reminders that some wounds don't heal, they just scar over. And in Astoria, where secrets don't stay buried long, something's about to break through. The ocean roars its approval, as if it knows the storm is coming. The quiet of Astoria's evening is shattered by a low, guttural roar, like a beast waking from slumber. Beth Carver stands in her clinic, the neon sign flickering in the drizzle, her hand still steady from stitching a child's scraped knee. The roar grows louder, and through the rain-streaked window, she sees it, an unmarked helicopter, its black silhouette slicing through the twilight, landing in the empty lot across the street. The town holds its breath. Curtains twitch in nearby homes, and Emily, doing homework in the back office, looks up, her eyes wide. "Mom, what's that?" she asks, her voice a mix of curiosity and fear. Beth's heart lurches, but she forces a calm smile. "Just a delivery, Em. Stay here." She steps outside, the rain cool against her skin, as two men emerge from the chopper. Their civilian clothes can't hide their military posture. Shoulders, squared eyes scanning like hawks. One with a scar tracing his jaw calls her name, not Doc Beth, but Lieutenant Commander Carver. The words hit like a bullet, ripping through 12 years of silence. Her green eyes narrow, but her hands tremble, betraying the calm she's trying to hold. "You've got the wrong person," she says, her voice low, almost a growl. The man doesn't flinch. He holds out a sealed envelope, heavy marked, Sierra Bravo 7, eyes only. Her old team's call sign, a name she buried with her past. Beth takes the envelope, her fingers brushing the rough paper. and the men step back, their boots crunching on wet gravel. "You have 12 hours, the scarred man says, his voice steady but urgent. "People are counting on you. If you don't act, they die." The helicopter's rotors spin up, whipping the rain into a frenzy, and they're gone, leaving Beth alone under the flickering neon. Emily peeks out the clinic door, her voice small. "Mom, who were they?" Beth clutches the envelope, her mind racing. "Nobody, sweetheart." She lies, but her eyes betray her, darting to the shadows, as if expecting more ghosts to appear. Back in her kitchen, the envelope sits on the table like a ticking bomb. She slices it open, her hands, steady, now trained by years of precision. Inside, satellite images spill out a fortress in the Spratly Islands, South China Sea, all concrete and menace. A note reads, "SEAL team lost contact. One survivor carries your encryption device." Beth's breath catches. That device, her creation, one of 10 built for covert missions, was destroyed after Somalia, or so she thought. A photo slips from the stack, grainy but unmistakable, a young woman bloodied, clutching the device. Scribbled in the margin, a note in Laura Reed's handwriting. "Beth, keep fighting." Her knees buckle, and she grips the counter, the past flooding back like a rogue wave. Laura, her teammate, her friend, lost in a mission gone wrong because of Beth's mistake. The rain beats against the window, a relentless drum, as Beth stares at the photo. Sierra Bravo 7. Her team, her family, the ones she failed. The device was her design, meant to protect, but it became a curse. She sees Laura's face in her mind, hears her laugh over the radio before it cut to static. The men's words echo. They die. Beth's pulse races, her training, screaming to act, but her heart pulls toward Emily, asleep upstairs, unaware of the warrior her mother once was. Old Tom, the Vietnam vet from the clinic, had lingered that day, watching her work with a knowing squint. "You've got a soldier's hands, Doc," he'd said, half joking. Now his words feel like an accusation. The town's whispers, troubled soul, runaway press against her, reminding her of the life she's built, the one she'd lose if she answers this call. But the photo of that bloodied survivor clutching her device burns in her mind. Someone's out there trapped, and Beth might be their only hope. 12 years ago, she walked away from the SEALs, from Laura, from herself. Now the past has landed on her doorstep, demanding she choose stay hidden or face the storm she swore she'd never brave again. Beth Carver sits at her kitchen table, the sealed envelope from the helicopter, staring back like an unblinking eye. The rain outside drums a relentless rhythm, echoing the chaos in her chest. Her hands, so steady when saving lives at the clinic, tremble as she traces the words. Sierra Bravo 7, eyes only. That name drags her back to Somalia 12 years ago, where the night was thick with smoke and screams. She sees Laura Reed's face, her teammate's fierce grin fading into static over a failed radio signal, a signal Beth's encryption device was meant to protect. The guilt is a weight she's carried ever since, heavy as the bald eagle tattoo on her shoulder. Fortitudo per umbras, strength through shadows, now a mocking reminder of her failure. She was a Navy SEAL, one of the few women to break that barrier, but the whispers followed her. Women don't belong in war. A senior officer's voice, cold and final after Somalia, rings in her ears. You're a liability, Carver. Step back. She did, leaving the SEALs, her team, her purpose to build a quiet life for Emily. Now the past demands she return, but the thought of facing that world again, its judgment, its danger, makes her stomach twist. Emily's footsteps creak on the stairs, and Beth shoves the envelope under a stack of bills. Mom, you okay? Emily asks, her 17-year-old eyes sharp with worry. You've been weird since that helicopter. Beth forces a smile, her voice soft but strained. Just clinic stuff, sweetheart. Go to bed. But Emily lingers, her gaze falling on the table, sensing the lie. Beth's heart aches. She's built a sanctuary for her daughter, a life where Emily sees her as a healer, not a warrior stained by loss. If she answers this call, the truth will spill out, and Emily might see her differently, not as mom, but as someone who abandoned her for a war long over. The town's whispers haunt her too old. Tom's knowing squint at the clinic, the diner gossip about her mysterious past. Troubled soul, they call her. If they knew she was a SEAL, would they judge her even more? Beth's fingers tighten, crumpling the envelope's edge. She thinks of the bloodied survivor in the photo, clutching her device. Someone's daughter, someone's Laura. They'd die, the man said. The words claw at her, but fear holds her back. Fear of failing again, of losing Emily's trust, of becoming the woman she buried. Beth stands her chair, scraping the floor, and crosses to the sink, staring at the rain-slicked window. She sees her reflection, the eagle tattoo hidden beneath her sleeve, a secret she's carried alone. "I can't go back," she whispers, her breath fogging the glass. Laura's voice echoes in her mind. "We're stronger together, Beth." But Laura's gone, and Beth's alone now with a daughter to protect, and a town that watches her every move. She strides to the trash can, the envelope heavy in her hand, and drops it in the thud final. She's done with that life, with the pain of Somalia, with the weight of being a woman who dared too much. But as she turns away, her eyes catch the locked box in her closet, its eagle carving glinting in the dim light. The past isn't done with her. It's waiting, patient as a predator, and deep down, Beth knows she can't outrun it forever. Beth Carver stands in her dimly lit kitchen, the trashed envelope now a crumpled ghost on the table. Its words, Sierra Bravo 7. Eyes only, burning in her mind. The rain outside has softened to a whisper, but her heart pounds like a war drum. She can't shake the image of that bloodied survivor clutching her encryption device, or Laura Reed's handwritten note, "Beth, keep fighting." The past is clawing at her, and she's drowning in it. Desperate for clarity, she grabs her coat and slips out into the night, leaving Emily asleep upstairs. Her boots crunch on the gravel road to a small cabin on the edge of Astoria, where Colonel James Jim Thornton lives, a retired SEAL commander, his face etched with scars from battles fought long ago. Jim was her mentor, the only one who believed in her when the Navy turned its back after Somalia. She hasn't seen him in years, but tonight she needs his strength. She knocks, and the door creaks open, revealing Jim's weathered face, his gray eyes sharp despite the late hour. "Beth," he says, his voice warm but knowing, "I figured you'd show up sooner or later." He spots the envelope in her hand, and his gaze hardens. "They found you." Inside the cabin, smells of cedar and old leather, a single lamp casting shadows on walls, lined with faded military photos. Beth sets the envelope down her fingers, lingering on its edge. "They want me back, Jim," she says, her voice low trembling. "Sierra Bravo 7. My device. People are trapped." Jim leans back, his scarred hands folding, and studies her. "You're still that warrior, Beth, whether you admit it or not." She shakes her head, the weight of Somalia crushing her. "I failed, Laura. My code failed her. I can't do this again." A memory flickers a dusty tent in Somalia. Laura's laugh cutting through the tension as they pored over encryption maps. "We're stronger together," Laura had said, her hand on Beth's shoulder, before the mission went wrong. Jim's voice pulls her back. "Laura would want you to save them," he says, his tone firm but kind. "You can't run forever. Not from her, not from yourself." He points to the envelope. "That's your chance to make it right." Beth's eyes sting, but she holds back tears, her jaw tight. Jim's words cut through her fear like a beacon, but the thought of leaving Emily, of breaking the life she's built, keeps her anchored. Unbeknownst to Beth, Emily has followed her, worried by her mother's late-night departure. She lingers outside the cabin, catching fragments of the conversation through the cracked window. Laura is who Mom Emily whispers to herself, her breath fogging in the cold. She steps inside, her voice small but steady. "Mom, if you can help someone, you should." Beth turns, startled, her heart sinking at the sight of her daughter. Emily's eyes, so like her own, hold a mix of confusion and trust. "You're hiding something big, aren't you?" Emily asks, stepping closer. Beth wants to lie to protect the image Emily has of her, a healer, not a soldier. But Jim nods gently, urging her to face the truth. "I was a Navy SEAL, Em," Beth says, her voice breaking. "A long time ago. I helped people, but I lost someone I couldn't save." Emily's eyes widen, but she doesn't pull away. "Then help them now," she says, her voice firm. "That's who you are." Beth's chest tightens, torn between fear and pride. Her daughter's words echo Laura's, reigniting a spark she thought was gone. Beth returns home, the envelope heavy in her pocket. In her bedroom, she kneels by the closet, opening the locked box with trembling hands. The sealed trident pin gleams the letter from Laura, creased but intact. She lifts the pin, its weight familiar, and pins it to her jacket, a silent vow. She thinks of Jim's scars, Emily's trust, and Laura's laugh, memories that refuse to stay buried. "I'm in," she whispers, picking up the phone to call the number scrawled in the envelope. The line rings, and as the rain taps the window, Beth feels the warrior inside her stir, ready to face the storm. She swore she'd never brave again. Beth Carver steps off a shuddering transport plane onto a covert naval base in California, a hidden fortress wiped from maps where the air bites with the sharp sting of jet fuel, and the relentless thrum of helicopter rotors echoes like a distant war drum. Her old duffel bag, its canvas frayed from missions, long, buried ways, heavy on her shoulder, stuffed with cargo pants, tactical boots, and the personal encryption device she swore she'd never touch again. The base hums with controlled chaos. Floodlights slice through the pre-dawn mist. The metallic clang of equipment reverberates, and the cold dawn air chills her skin. Beth's pulse races, a mix of adrenaline and dread, as she crosses the tarmac, her boots steady despite the storm inside her. At the security gate, her ID, Lieutenant Commander Carver, flashes on the guard's screen, unchanged since Somalia. "You're still in the system," he says, his young eyes widening as if seeing a specter. Beth's sharp green eyes lock onto his, her jaw tight, but her heart twists. She thinks of Emily back in Astoria, her trusting face, as Beth left a note. "Back soon, sweetheart. Love, Mom." The lie burns sharper than the wind. A memory of Laura Reed flickers her calm voice in a Somalia bunker, teaching Beth a code-breaking trick: trust the pattern, not the noise. Lieutenant Ryan Holt, a wiry officer with a smug grin, strides up. A 48-year-old woman. "You're a relic, Carver," he scoffs, his voice cutting. "Think you can keep up with us?" Beth's fingers brush the seal pin hidden in her pocket, her voice steady as steel. "Watch me, kid." Could she step into the fire again, knowing what she'd lost? In the briefing room, a sterile cube of concrete and flickering screens. Beth faces the new SEAL team, young operatives with taut faces, their eyes weighing her worth. Captain Sarah Nguyen, a woman in her late 20s with fire in her gaze, but no scars of combat, steps forward. "I read your file, Carver," she says, her handshake firm, her voice carrying respect. "You're a legend." Beth forces a tight smile, the word legend feeling like a chain. The team's murmurs ripple, some curious, others hostile, whispering washed-up veteran as if she's deaf. The mission brief unfolds satellite images of a fortress in the Spratly Islands, South China Sea, where a SEAL team has gone silent. One survivor clutching Beth's encryption device, a tool she crafted for Sierra Bravo 7 to protect her team. Now it threatens national security. Beth's stomach knots. She sees Laura in a Somalia tent, her laugh bright as they tested the device. "This'll save us." Laura set her hand, steadying Beth's trembling one. The memory cuts like a knife. Ryan leans back, muttering. She's been out too long. A teammate, Ensign Carter, joins in. "What's a woman her age doing here?" Beth grips her encryption device, its cold metal grounding her. Sarah's eyes meet hers, a flicker of alliance. "We need you, Sarah," says, silencing the room. Beth nods, but Emily's face haunts her a conversation from last week. Emily saying, "You always help people, Mom." Could she help these people without losing her daughter? Colonel Mark Ellison enters his presence heavy as a thunderhead, his face etched with the same disdain that forced Beth out after Somalia. "You're a liability, Carver." He'd said then, his words a scar. Now he briefs the team, his voice cold. "We need her expertise. No choice." Beth studies the satellite images, a concrete fortress bristling with watchtowers, radar, and electronic defenses. Its layout a ghost of the Somalia base she barely escaped. A technician hands her a tablet, and she spots a faint signal log, a glitch from her old device. It triggers a memory, Laura's voice over a crackling radio fading into silence as Beth's code failed. Her fingers tremble, but she steadies them, tracing the map's edges. Ellison's gaze burns into her, resentful. "Don't screw this up," he warns. Beth's thoughts drift to Emily, her trusting eyes, and the note left behind. A base staffer, an older woman with a knowing nod, whispers, "I heard about you, Carver. Glad you're back." Beth doesn't respond, her mind on Laura's last words. "Keep fighting." "Laura, I won't fail this time," Beth whispers, her voice lost in the base's hum. The armory looms ahead, its steel doors a threshold to danger. Beth steps forward, her boots echoing, carrying the weight of her past and the hope of redemption, ready to face the battlefield she swore she'd never see again. In the dim glow of the naval base's operations room, Beth Carver hunches over a flickering console, her fingers dancing across a keyboard as she battles an enemy she can't see. The SEAL team prepares around her, their gear clanking in the sterile air, but the real fight is on her screen, a constantly shifting encryption system guarding the Spratly fortress. Red digits flash a countdown each second, a pulse of pressure. Beth's green eyes narrow her mind, racing to crack the code before it locks them out. She clutches a small photo of Emily tucked in her pocket, her daughter's smile a quiet anchor. "Come on, Beth," she mutters, recalling Laura Reed's voice in a Somalia bunker, bullets pinging outside. "Keep the code tight, Beth." That mission failed, and Laura paid the price. Now Beth's skills are all that stand between the trapped SEALs and disaster. Lieutenant Ryan Holt looms nearby, his voice sharp with disdain. "You're too slow, Carver." Modern tech's passed you by, he snaps, arms crossed. The team's eyes dart between them, tension thick. Captain Sarah Nguyen steps in, her voice firm. "Give her a chance, Holt. She's got this." Beth ignores the jab, her fingers flying, decoding patterns only she can see. The screen beeps success. She's located the captured SEALs, but a new alert flashes. The base has a self-destruct system primed to erase the hostages. Beth's breath catches her heart pounding, like it did when Laura's radio went silent. She glances at Emily's photo, whispering, "I won't fail them, Em." Sarah nods, a silent alliance forming, but Ryan's scoff lingers, a reminder of the doubts she must silence. Beth stands before the team in a briefing tent, the Spratly Islands satellite images projected on a canvas wall, their jagged coral reefs like scars on the earth. She traces a hidden route she used 12 years ago to escape a Somalia base, her voice steady as she maps the terrain. The coral path is narrow, but shielded from radar. She says, her eyes distant, remembering Laura's steady hand, guiding her through that escape. "Stay low, Beth. We'll make it." The memory stings, but it fuels her. The team listens, some nodding, others skeptical. The images reveal a fortress controlled by an international mercenary group, led by a hacker known only as Viper. Beth's stomach twists. Viper's name feels like a shadow from her past. Sarah shares her own story, her voice soft but fierce. "I was doubted for being a woman too, Carver. You're why I joined the SEALs." The words hit Beth like a lifeline, easing her fear of repeating Somalia's mistakes. Ryan rolls his eyes, muttering, "Hope she doesn't choke like last time." Beth grips Emily's photo in her pocket, her daughter's words echoing. "You always help people, Mom." She pushes forward, detailing the route's dangers, tides, sensors, ambush, points her expertise, silencing some doubters. But the fear lingers. What if Viper knows her weakness is her past? She sees Laura's face, hears her laugh, and vows to protect this team, to prove she's more than a relic. In a training drill on the base, Beth navigates a simulated jungle course, her movements precise. Despite Ryan's deliberate sabotage, he adjusts the obstacles to trip her up. The team watches, some whispering, "She's too old, she'll slow us down." Beth outsmarts the trap with an old SEAL tactic, disarming a mock sensor with a flick of her wrist, her training unshaken by time. The team falls silent, impressed, but wary. Ryan sneers. "Lucky move, Grandma." Beth's jaw tightens, but Sarah's nod bolsters her. Back at the console, Beth detects an encrypted signal from the Spratly base, its code chillingly familiar. It contains Laura Reed's name pulsing like a ghost. Beth freezes her mind, flashing to Somalia. Laura shielding her from shrapnel, her voice calm. "We'll get through this, Beth." Is Viper connected to Laura's death? The thought shakes her, but she hides it. Her face a mask. She thinks of Emily, her daughter's trust, and the promise she made to Jim Thornton. Make it right. The team's doubts, Ryan's taunts, and Viper's shadow loom large, but Beth's resolve hardens. She's not just fighting for the trapped SEALs. She's fighting for Laura, for Emily, for herself. Could she outrun the ghosts of her past, or would they claim her again? Beth Carver sits in the cramped, humming compartment of a Navy submarine, the air heavy with the scent of oil and metal, the faint beeps of radar echoing like a pulse in the dark. The vessel cuts through the Pacific toward the Spratly Islands, each vibration a step closer to the fortress that haunts her dreams. Beth's fingers grip her personal encryption device, its cold surface a reminder of the mission ahead. In her pocket, a small photo of Emily. Her daughter's bright smile from a recent school play grounds her, but also stings. She left Astoria with a note. "Back soon, sweetheart." But the truth weighs heavy, she might not return. Her mind drifts to Somalia 12 years ago, where Laura Reed shielded her from a grenade's blast. Her voice steady despite the chaos. "Keep the code tight, Beth. We'll get through." Laura didn't. The memory cuts deep, and Beth's heart races, fear of failing her new team clawing at her. Captain Sarah Nguyen sits across her young face, taut but trusting. "You survived that place," Carver Sarah says, her voice a quiet anchor. "You're our guide." Beth nods, but doubt lingers. Can she lead without losing more? Ryan Holt, slouched nearby, mutters, "Hope she doesn't choke again." Beth's jaw tightens her fingers, tracing the eagle tattoo beneath her sleeve. Fortitudo per umbras, strength through shadows. She whispers to herself, "I won't fail them, Laura." Could she silence the ghosts of her past, Or would they drag her under the team lands on a jagged, sprattly shore at 2 a.m.? The moonless sky a black shroud, the only sound, the soft crash of waves against coral. Beth leads her boots, sinking into wet sand, guiding the team along a hidden reef route she used to escape Somalia years ago. The air is thick with salt and tension, the weight of Emily's photo in her pocket, a constant pull back to Astoria. She recalls a late-night talk with her daughter Emily, saying, "You always help people," Mom, her eyes full of trust. Now Beth's mission is to help strangers, but the cost feels too high. A modern sensor system hums ahead, its red lights blinking like eyes in the dark. Beth kneels, her old encryption device trembling in her hands. As she hacks the system, her fingers moving with muscle memory. The screen flashes green disabled, but only for minutes. "Move fast," she whispers, her voice steady despite her racing heart. The team advances, but fresh blood smears the coral, glistening under a flashlight's beam, a sign a hostage is gravely injured. Beth's breath catches her mind, flashing to Laura's bloodied face. In Somalia, her sacrifice to save Beth. Sarah grips her shoulder, whispering, "We've got this." Ryan scoffs if she doesn't freeze. Beth pushes forward, her resolve hardening, but the blood stains her thoughts. Could she save these lives, or would she lose another piece of herself? The enemy base looms through the jungle, a concrete fortress bristling with watchtowers, radar dishes humming, and electronic defenses pulsing like a living beast. Beth's heart sinks. It's a mirror of the Somalia base she barely escaped, upgraded by Viper, the hacker who knows her past. Her encryption device, meant to protect, has endangered these SEALs and guilt claws at her. "I have to make this right," she vows, her voice barely audible over the jungle's hum. She recalls Laura's last radio call, her voice fading. "Keep fighting, Beth." Now a new signal crackles through her device. Its message chilling, "Carver, you can't escape the past." Viper knows she's coming. The team crouches in the shadows, Ryan muttering, "She'll get us killed." Sarah snaps, "Enough, Holt. She's our best shot." Beth's fingers tremble as she adjusts her device, her mind racing. She sees Emily's face, hears her daughter's trust, and feels Laura's sacrifice. The fortress's lights flicker, a beacon of danger. Beth leads the team closer, her boots silent on the damp earth, each step a battle against her past. Could she face the enemy within and without, or would the shadows of Somalia claim her again? Beth Carver crawls through a pitch-black tunnel beneath the Spratly fortress, the air thick with damp earth and the faint buzz of electronic traps. Her team follows their breaths, shallow, the weight of the mission pressing down like the concrete above. Beth's hands, steady, despite the years, work her old encryption device its screen, casting a faint glow as she disables a humming sensor rigged to detonate. Her heart pounds, but her focus is razor-sharp, honed by a past she can't escape. She clutches a small photo of Emily in her pocket. Her daughter's smile, a beacon in the dark. A memory flashes Laura Reed in Somalia, shielding Beth from a grenade's blast, her voice fierce. "You're my sister, Beth. Keep going." That failure haunts her, and now her device has led another team into danger. Suddenly the screen flickers. Viper, the enemy hacker, counter-hacks her system. An alarm shrieks, red lights pulsing through the tunnel. "They're onto us." Ryan Holt hisses, his voice sharp with accusation. Beth's jaw tightens, but Captain Sarah Nguyen grips her arm, whispering, "You've got this, Carver." Beth tosses a smoke grenade, its hiss masking their movements, as mercenaries' boots thunder above. She draws her M9 pistol, her aim steady, firing precise shots to clear a path. The team pushes forward, but Ryan snaps. "This is on you, Relic." Beth ignores him, her mind on Emily's words. You always help people. Mom. She leads on her eagle tattoo Fortitudo per Umbris, itching under her sleeve. Could she save this team, or would her past betray her again? Beth reaches the hostage cell, a dank chamber lit by a single bulb where 5 seals slump bloodied and broken. Her breath catches as she recognizes Anna Laura Reed's niece, clutching the encryption device Beth designed. Anna's eyes so like Laura's widen with hope. "You're her Anna," whispers voice weak. Beth kneels, checking wounds, her hands trembling with guilt. She failed Laura. Now, Laura's kin is in her hands. A screen flickers on, and Viper's face appears cold familiar, a former SEAL teammate who betrayed Sierra Bravo 7 in Somalia to sell Beth's tech. "I knew you'd come," Carver Viper sneers, their voice dripping with malice. "You can't outrun your mistakes." Beth's heart lurches. She missed Viper's betrayal 12 years ago, costing Laura's life. The team stirs, Ryan muttering, "She's the reason we're here." Sarah snaps focus Holt. Beth's mind races, replaying a Somalia night when Laura hugged her before a mission saying, "You're my sister Beth." That bond fuels her now. She stabilizes Anna, whispering, "I won't lose you too." The screen flashes, Viper's taunt loops. "You can't escape." Beth grips her device, her resolve hardening. Emily's face flashes in her mind, her daughter's trust a lifeline. The team looks to her, even Ryan wary but silent. Could she face the enemy who knows her every flaw, or would her guilt break her? The fortress trembles as Viper activates the self-destruct system, a countdown blaring through the speakers, 5 minutes until oblivion. Beth leads the team and hostages back through the tunnel, her boots slipping on wet stone. Anna's weight heavy on her shoulder. Red digits flash on her device, the code shifting faster than she can track. Her hands shake, sweat beading on her brow, but she sees Laura's face, hears her voice. Trust the pattern. Beth. She works frantically decoding Viper's trap as gunfire erupts behind. "She's the reason we're exposed," Ryan shouts, but Sarah counters. "She's our way out." Beth's fingers fly, her mind merging past and present Laura's lessons, Emily's trust. The code cracks with seconds to spare, silencing the countdown. The team bursts into the jungle as the fortress collapses, dust and debris choking the air. Viper emerges from the shadows, gun raised. Beth, wounded in the shoulder, faces them in a one-on-one standoff. "This ends now," she says, her voice steady. A shot rings out, Viper falls. Beth stumbles, her eagle tattoo exposed through torn fabric, blood seeping. Anna grips her hand, whispering, "Thank you." Beth thinks of Emily, her daughter's smile, and knows she's kept her promise. Could she carry this victory home, or would the cost be too high? The sea churns beneath the naval ship, its engines roaring as it speeds away from the Spratly Islands, the collapsing fortress now a smoldering scar on the horizon. Beth Carver leans against the ship's railing, her shoulder throbbing from the wound that tore her sleeve, exposing the bald eagle tattoo, Fortitudo per Umbris. Strength through shadows. Her breath is ragged, but her heart steadies as she clutches the small photo of Emily, her daughter's smile a lifeline in the chaos. Anna Laura Reed's niece sits nearby, bandaged but alive, her eyes eerily like Laura's, brimming with gratitude. She presses a worn dog tag into Beth's hand, Laura's name etched on it. "She was always proud of you," Anna whispers, her voice weak but clear. "She said you were her sister." Beth's throat tightens, a memory, flashing Laura in Somalia, hugging her before their last mission, whispering, "You're my sister." Beth. Keep fighting. The dog tag burns in her palm, a piece of Laura she can finally hold. Beth nods, unable to speak, the weight of her guilt lifting, replaced by a fragile peace. She saved Anna, saved the team, but the cost her, wound her exposed past, hangs heavy. Could she carry this triumph home to Emily, or would it break the life she built? In the ship's cramped briefing room, the SEAL team gathers their faces, weary but alive. Captain Sarah Nguyen steps forward, her voice steady. "Carver, you got us through," she says. Her handshake firm, a spark of admiration in her eyes. Lieutenant Ryan Holt, his earlier smirk gone, nods grudgingly. "We were wrong about you," he says. His voice low, almost an apology. The team murmurs agreement, their doubts dissolving like smoke. "You're no relic," Ensign Carter adds, a faint smile breaking through. Beth's chest swells, but the praise feels bittersweet. She's proven her worth, but at what price? Colonel Mark Ellison stands at the room's edge, his face a mask of reluctant respect. "You saved the mission, Carver," he says. His tone clipped the memory of his old words, you're a liability hanging between them. Beth meets his gaze, her green eyes unflinching. "I did what I had to," she replies, her voice calm but firm. She thinks of Emily, her daughter's trust, and the note she left. "Back soon, sweetheart." The team's recognition is a hard-won victory, but her heart aches for home, for the truth she must now face with her daughter. Beth holds the encryption device, its metal scarred from the battle, a relic of her past that nearly cost lives again. She stands alone on the deck, the sea stretching endless before her, and decides to destroy it. No more threats, no more ghosts. The dog tag in her pocket feels heavier than the device, a symbol of Laura's pride, a reminder of her vow to make things right. She recalls a moment in Astoria, Emily's voice soft over dinner. "You always help people, Mom." That trust drives her now, but also terrifies her will. Emily understands the warrior she's become again. The ship's medic approaches, checking her wound. "You're tougher than you look, Carver," he says, a nod of respect. Beth offers a faint smile, her thoughts on Laura's sacrifice, Anna's survival, and the team's newfound trust. She's earned her place among them, but the journey isn't over. The sea rolls on, carrying her toward home, toward Emily, toward a truth she can't hide anymore. Could she rebuild her life with this victory, or would the shadows of her past follow her still? The naval ship cuts through the churning Pacific waves, crashing against its hull like the unresolved echoes of Beth Carver's past. The Spratly Fortress is a fading smudge on the horizon, but danger lingers. Beth leans against the medical bay's wall, her shoulder wound, throbbing, blood seeping through the bandage that barely hides her eagle tattoo. Fortitudo per umbras, strength through shadows. Her fingers clutch Laura Reed's dog tag, its etched name a heavy promise kept. Suddenly, a radar alarm shrieks. A mercenary ship, sleek and predatory, emerges from the dawn mist, its guns trained on them. Beth's heart races her mind, flashing to Emily's photo in her pocket, her daughter's smile a beacon through the storm. "They're jamming our comms," Captain Sarah Nguyen reports, her voice tense. Beth, though weakened, stumbles to a console, her old encryption device in hand. She recalls Laura in Somalia, shielding her from shrapnel, whispering, "Keep it tight, Beth." Her fingers fly, countering the enemy's radar jam with a burst of electronic warfare. Her skills sharp despite the pain. "Got their signal scrambled," she says, her voice hoarse but firm. The naval ship's guns roar, gaining the upper hand as the mercenaries falter. Lieutenant Ryan Holt, his earlier doubts gone, claps her shoulder too hard, making her wince. "You're unreal, Carver," he says, a grin breaking through. The team cheers, a collective nod of respect, their voices rising above the waves. Sarah adds, "We owe you." Beth nods, but her thoughts are on Emily, on the note she left. "Back soon, sweetheart." Her wound burns, and she sags against the console, commanding from the medical bay as the ship outruns the threat. Could she return to her daughter whole, Or would this battle's scars follow her home? Back at the California base, the air hums with jet fuel and relief as the team disembarks, their faces weary but alive. Beth bandaged and pale faces, Colonel Mark Ellison in a stark office, his stern gaze softened by grudging respect. "You pulled it off, Carver," he says, sliding a reinstatement offer across the desk. "Full rank any assignment. Join us again." Beth's eyes flicker to the dog tag in her pocket, then to Emily's photo, her daughter's trusting smile. She thinks of a night in Astoria, Emily saying, "You always help people." Mom over dinner, her voice full of pride. "I don't need a title to know who I am," Beth replies, her voice steady, pushing the offer back. Ellison nods a rare hint of approval. Fair enough. As Beth steps outside, her phone buzzes a call from Emily, her voice thick with worry. "Mom, where are you? You've been gone too long." Beth's heart aches the truth. She's hidden, pressing against her. "I'm coming home, sweetheart," she says, her voice breaking. "And I'll tell you everything." She imagines Emily's face so like her own, and wonders if her daughter will see a hero or a stranger. The team gathers nearby, Ryan offering a handshake. "We were wrong about you, Carver," he says, his tone earnest. Sarah adds, "You're one of us." Beth smiles faintly, the dog tag warm in her hand, Laura's pride echoing. The base fades behind her, but the weight of her choices, her victory, her wounds, her truth looms as she prepares to face home. Could she rebuild her life with Emily carrying the scars of this fight? Below is the completed Part 11 resurrection for the script. She hid her seal, passed for 12 years, until the Navy SEALs called her back, crafted as a storytelling narrative for voiceover tailored for senior U.S. audiences, men and women over 60. The content adheres to the provided outline, builds seamlessly on the previous sections. Hook, ordinary world. Call to adventure. Refusal of the call. Meeting. The mentor. Ally. Crossing the threshold. Tests. Allies. Enemy's approach to the inmost cave. Ordeal and the road back, and achieves the target length of 1,000 words across 2 segments, 500 words each. It delivers a final twist, enabling Beth Carver to overcome biases and reconcile her dual identities as a warrior and mother, using an engaging, emotional, and compassionate tone that resonates with the target audience. The narrative maintains military authenticity while remaining accessible, avoiding technical jargon, and incorporates suggestions from the previous evaluation to deepen the connection to Laura Reed, enhance family dynamics, and highlight reconciliation. Following the section, an evaluation in Vietnamese provides comments and suggestions for improving the next section. Return with the elixir. Beth Carver stands in a stark office at the California Naval Base, the hum of distant helicopters seeping through the walls, her shoulder wound, throbbing beneath a fresh bandage. Colonel Mark Ellison sits across from her, his stern face softened by a flicker of shame. The team captain Sarah Nguyen, Lieutenant Ryan Holt, and others stands behind her, their presence a quiet testament to her victory. Ellison clears his throat, his voice low. "I called you back to prove you were unfit, Carver." He admits, his eyes avoiding hers. "I thought a woman your age couldn't handle it. I was wrong." The words hit like a wave, washing away years of his disdain. "You're a liability, Carver," he'd said after Somalia. Beth's heart races, but she holds his gaze, her green eyes unflinching. A memory flashes Laura Reed in Somalia, pressing her dog tag into Beth's hand before their last mission, whispering, "Keep it for me, Beth." That sacrifice fuels her now. Apology accepted, Beth says, her voice steady but firm. "But I'm not here for your approval." Ellison offers a new role training the next generation of SEALs. Beth leans forward, her condition clear. I'll do it, but I'm training them on gender equality too. No one gets left behind because of who they are. The team erupts in applause, Ryan leading with a nod of respect. You proved us wrong, Carver. He says, his earlier doubts gone. Sarah adds, You're our guide. Beth clutches Laura's dog tag in her pocket, its weight a reminder of her promise kept. Could she be both warrior and mother, or would one always overshadow the other? Beth steps off a plane in Astoria, the Oregon coast's salty breeze, a balm to her weary soul. Her clinic looms ahead, its neon sign flickering in the dusk, but her heart pulls toward home, toward Emily. She finds her daughter in their kitchen, homework scattered, her eyes wide with worry. Mom, you're back, Emily says, rushing to hug her. Beth holds her tight, the pain in her shoulder fading against her daughter's warmth. She pulls back, taking a breath, and tells the truth. I was a Navy SEAL, Em, she says, her voice soft but steady. I lost someone I loved, Laura, my friend. I went back to save others, to make it right. Emily's eyes, so like Beth's, shimmer with pride. You're my hero, Mom, she says, her voice breaking. Beth's throat tightens, recalling Emily's words over dinner. You always help people. She hands Emily Laura's dog tag, its surface worn but warm. This was hers, Beth says. She taught me to keep fighting. At the clinic, Beth installs new medical equipment, her SEAL precision guiding each step, a gift to her community. She thinks of Laura's hug, Emily's trust, and the team's applause. Standing outside, her eagle tattoo, Fortitudo per umbras, visible under a rolled sleeve, Beth feels whole. Her warrior and mother selves no longer at war. Could she carry this new strength forward to heal her town and her daughter's heart? Beth Carver stands outside her clinic in Astoria, the Oregon breeze carrying the scent of salt and renewal. The neon sign flickers, but her eagle tattoo, Fortitudo per umbras, strength through shadows, gleams under a rolled sleeve no longer hidden. She's launched a veteran support program, a beacon for those haunted by war's echoes. The room fills with weathered faces, old soldiers, their eyes heavy with stories, some glistening with tears, as Beth speaks of PTSD, of resilience, of carrying scars forward. She shares Laura Reed's story, her voice steady but warm, recalling a Somalia night when Laura laughed, handing her a dog tag. Keep it for me, Beth. That sacrifice drives her now. She invites Captain Sarah Nguyen and Anna, Laura's niece, to join their presence, bridging generations. Sarah shares her own struggles, her voice fierce yet kind, while Anna speaks of Laura's pride in Beth. She called you her sister, Anna says, her eyes shining. The veterans nod, some reaching out to clasp Beth's hand, their gratitude a quiet chorus. Old Tom, the Vietnam vet from her clinic, stands, his voice gruff. You're one of us, Doc. Beth smiles, her heart full, thinking of Emily's trust and Laura's legacy. This program is her elixir, a way to heal her town, to honor the past without letting it define her. Could her courage spark a new light in Astoria, mending broken spirits? In her kitchen, Beth sits with Emily under the soft glow of a lamp, teaching her to navigate by stars, a skill honed in SEAL training. The table is scattered with charts, but Emily's eyes, bright like Beth's, sparkle with awe. You learned this in the Navy? She asks, her voice proud. Beth nods her fingers, tracing a constellation, recalling Laura's voice. In Somalia. Look up, Beth. The stars always guide you home. A letter from Anna lies open nearby. Its words, a balm, you saved me, and carried Laura's legacy. Thank you. Beth hands Emily the dog tag, its surface worn but warm. This was Laura's, she says, her voice soft. She was family like you. Emily holds it, her fingers gentle, and says, "You're my hero, Mom." Beth's throat tightens, remembering a dinner when Emily said, "You always help people." Now that truth binds them. Beth shares a story of a Somalia mission. Laura's laugh cutting through the dark, and Emily listens rapt, seeing her mother whole warrior and healer. The stars outside shine a map of resilience, and Beth feels the weight of her past lift, replaced by a bond stronger than any battle. Could she pass this strength to Emily to guide her through life's storms? Beth stands on Astoria's beach, the Pacific stretching endless before her, its waves whispering secrets of her past. Her tattoo glows under the dawn, a symbol of battles fought and won. She thinks of Laura's dog tag now in Emily's hands, and Anna's letter, a testament to her victory. Her clinic thrives her veteran program, a growing light letters from old soldiers piling up with thanks. Have you ever left a part of yourself behind, only to find it defines you? The narrator asks. Beth Carver faced her past to save others, proving courage knows no age, no gender. What would you do when duty calls? Share your story in the comments. Who inspired you to be your best self? Like, share, and subscribe for more tales of courage and resilience. Beth whispers fortitudo per umbras, her voice blending with the waves. Her journey from a hidden warrior to a healer who bridges generations leaves a legacy for Astoria, for Emily, for all who carry their own shadows. Could her courage inspire a new generation to face their past and shape their future?